Geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe have reached a new peak after NATO suddenly deployed a massive wave of modern battle tanks to the Poland-Ukraine border. The move immediately triggered panic in Moscow, which sees the deployment as a direct threat to Russia's national security. Since dawn, dozens of Leopard 2 tanks from Germany, Challenger 2 from the UK, and Abrams from the US were seen moving across Poland's strategic highways. The massive convoy was accompanied by infantry fighting vehicles, heavy artillery, and mobile air defense systems. A terrifying scene unfolded in several Polish border towns. The roar of tank engines, combined with NATO helicopters flying low in patrol, created a warlike atmosphere that left civilians on edge. Polish military sources described the operation as part of NATO's defense reinforcement exercise. However, analysts argue the move is far more serious, a direct show of force aimed at pressuring Russia to halt its aggression in Ukraine. The Kremlin reacted harshly. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that the deployment of such a large number of tanks was a massive provocation that could lead to dangerous consequences for regional stability. Russian media quickly highlighted the NATO tank convoys with grim headlines, "Europe on the brink of war." National television aired footage of tanks rolling endlessly, fueling fears that a direct clash between NATO and Russia may be imminent. Meanwhile, Ukraine welcomed the arrival of NATO forces in military equipment with open arms. President Volodymyr Zelensky declared the move as proof that allies are truly standing with Ukraine against Russian invasion. The tanks are expected to be stationed at several strategic points near Lviv and Ukraine's western front. This positioning is intended to allow NATO to provide immediate support if Russia attempts to expand its assault into Poland or disrupt Ukraine's supply lines. Washington emphasized the deployment as part of its collective defense commitment. Yet behind the official statement, many analysts believe the move is a preemptive strategy to deter any reckless action from Russia. In London, the UK Defence Minister called the tank deployment the clearest signal that NATO is ready to fight if red lines are crossed. The statement further escalated already fragile diplomatic tensions. Russia did not sit idle. In Kaliningrad, Russian forces were placed on full alert. Tactical ballistic missile units armed with Iskander systems were reportedly moved closer to Poland, raising fears of potential In addition, Western intelligence reported increased Russian troop deployments in Belarus. This move is believed to be a direct response to the intensifying NATO tank movements on the eastern border. The situation in Eastern Europe is now highly volatile. On one hand, NATO is attempting to demonstrate solidarity and strength. On the other, Russia views it as a direct threat to its survival. Civilians living near the Poland-Ukraine border are beginning to feel the direct effects of the situation. Reports indicate growing panic, with some families attempting to evacuate to areas considered safer.